How do you properly diagnose like what somebody needs? Example, let's say they already have quarter million of coverage with NLG, or you're just trying to at the end of the presentation diagnose, hey, this is what you need, and not come off to like,
That's okay. And are you doing it more on like death benefit? Like, are you talking about dime when you say what you need? Like kind of like identifying a need for life insurance. So instead of doing that, that's a really good question. How many of you guys heard this question? Anybody not hear the question? Anybody not hear the question? Say it again. Say it again.
how do you properly diagnose what a client's going to need? And
That's a good
without
one.
being too salesy.
Yeah, and then so diagnosing it is one part, and then delivering their need is another part without sounding too salesy, okay? So the first thing is, have you ever had a teacher tell you what you need to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Do you walk away feeling inspired? No. No. Have you ever had, I would say this, watch me say this today, watch this question. Day, have you ever had your wife tell you what you need to do? Okay? Of course not, okay? This is me indirectly communicating with the couples, okay? Through somebody not married, so that I don't have to own it and look at anybody's faces. You know what I mean? You see what I'm doing? Like all couples know this stuff, but I'm quickly going to move on because I'm in the marriage, okay? All right? And I want to stay there, all right? So that I quickly move on. Have you ever had a boss tell you what you need to do? Have you ever had a boss tell you what you need to do? Okay? So I learned after doing it incorrectly many times, Day, that people don't want to hear what they need to do. Ever have a doctor tell you what you need to do? You need to stop eating French fries. Ah, you son of a gun. You just became my enemy. Don't let my wife hear that. You know what I mean? I don't want her to know what you just said. I want to keep eating French fries. That's most husbands in America, okay? Their Super Bowl diet next week, okay, is not one that doctors approve of. All right? All right? So like, think about that. So we don't want to hear from authoritative figures of what we need. But I'm going to give you two different ways to communicate. The need part is going to be a fast answer, but the human part. So here's how Jason hears the question. His question about diagnosing a need, I think of as product.
Yeah.
And product means scripts, presentations, and actually products we sell. So when I mean product, I mean something in the playbook, something that's been made, something I could follow the steps. But delivering the findings of our answer to a human being, I think of as people, okay? I think of as people, which is why we're always going to be teaching product and people, product and people, product and people, product and people, okay? Later on today, we're going to role play the 3 Good Quality script in training, and Natalie's going to kill it and do a good job with that, okay? And when she does that, that's to me product. Yeah. Product, but delivering it to different personalities and being able to overcome objections, that's people. So it's never all of one or the other, okay? Coming into this business, how many of you would consider yourself much better product people? Scripts, presentations, knowledge, learning, usually it's in the knowledge category, okay? Like that's more your thing. How many of you guys, when you came here, you were like, I don't know about all that, but dude, I can get some people in this building. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know much about that, but I'll go get some heads in here. Somebody else, talk to them. You know what I mean? By the way, let's do it again. Look around the hands. Look at this product. Look at our product. Okay, they largely, this is awesome. Okay, product, people. Let's go. People. Okay, people. Who's the bold ones in here that are like, Coach, they made me a dual threat player. Okay, I don't know about you, but I got goodies on both sides of the ball. Put me in, Coach. Put me in. Okay. All right, I'm a two-way player. So this is cool. This is cool. When I got started, I was all product. All product. They were like, go get people. I was like, to do what? And they're like, just bring them in. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because we're going to grow a team. And I was like, do I have to? Guys, I'm serious. Why? You think it took me 6 closeouts to hit 3 and 3? You think I'm playing? 6 mother freaking closeouts to get to get 3 human beings on board. Okay, you think that, and I always say this, and I've said this my whole career. You think back then I was like, I'm going to sell them the dream by sucking in the beginning. Yeah, then I'll build a big hierarchy. You really think I was thinking like that? Guys, I couldn't get people to save your life because I wanted to explain everything to everybody about how everything works. And I learned nobody wants knowledge even though they ask for it. Yeah. Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does. Nobody does. People want to feel good about what they're doing. Okay? And they want somebody to kindly shift their water flow to a different direction, kindly, without bruising or damaging their egos. Okay? May I make a suggestion to you? You ever see somebody say this? May I suggest something? Right? That's after a lot of times of doing it wrong. Okay? May I suggest? If I ever hear a guy say, may I suggest something to you? He's been in trouble with his wife before. Okay? Like guys, when guys say, may I suggest? That's not how guys talk. That's a learned man's behavior. Okay? That is a man that learned to speak that way. Men don't talk like that naturally. So if you ever hear me say, may I suggest something to you? That's because I've screwed up 100 times before and I've learned not to say it the way I want to say it. There you go. There you go. There you go. Trust me about this stuff. There are learned languages of which I had none of. I moved furniture. I listened to rap music. You could only imagine how I spoke to people. I cussed at people. I mean, guys, you have no idea. You think I slipped today. Should have seen 20 years ago, okay? I would light people up like a Christmas tree on closeout. People would walk to the bathroom and never come back. Oh, shoot. Okay? Like I didn't walk in going, hey guys, hi guys, oh, go get him, Tiger. What are you talking about? I learned encouragement later. Encouragement, I never encouraged a human being in my life before the business. Encourage, I criticize. I criticize my brothers. I criticize my friends. I criticize the president. I criticize my boss. I don't encourage. Encourage, I had to learn how to encourage because I learned that people want encouragement, praise, and recognition. That came from reading How to Win Friends and Influence People, that people want encouragement, praise, and recognition. Yep. So as I answer Dave's question, it's important that I understand human nature, that people want to be encouraged, praised, and recognized, not told what they need, but help them get what they want. Okay, so you're a fan of Milet, okay? So was I. Milet got me into the industry as one of our original uplines a long time ago, okay? It's neither here nor there about the person, but it's the story. Milet, you see how he's in really good shape, okay? Do you know why? Okay, because Ed has a heart problem that's fatal. And if he doesn't maintain a certain blood fat levels and good health and all that stuff, he could die. Okay? And a long time ago, he was told this by a doctor. And that's tough. Okay? So he's said this on stage, but he doesn't talk about that anymore. All right? So he said, I'm in my doctor's appointment and I don't listen to doctors. How many people are like that? Okay? You're like, yeah, I'm here, but what the heck are you talking about? I'm not listening. I hear you, but I'm not listening. Okay? And like most ego guys, we don't like listening. We hear you, and then we go back to doing what we were doing. Right? Okay, like this is a typical male behavior. Until that male learns differently, that's how most men are wired. Okay? If you're, guys, how many of you would just admit that like I hear things and then I just go do what I want to do anyways? Raise your hand, Kumar. Okay, let's make sure. Okay. Okay, now guys, who has a special skill set in the room, guys, where you're like, you know what? I noticed that most guys were like that, but really I wasn't. I was better than that. How many of you guys would say that? Say, I would say, would you agree with Jojo? Yep. I would agree with Jojo. He probably has a strong relationship with his mom. He does. Yep. Because when guys do have that, they usually have a strong relationship with a woman figure, like their mom. Okay, and those are some of the things, like some of the listening qualities I did have from my mom. Okay, now delivering it with my mouth, never. It just never ended up happening. So back to Milet. Milet's doctor said, if you don't do this, 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 and this, you're going to die. Wow. And he's like, shut up, doctor. You know, I'm like, I mean, guys, I think when he was told this, he was like 38 or 40 years old. Damn. This is not something you're told when you're 60 years old. No, this is something what he's told when he was like younger than me or my age, okay? So that's not, and you got little kids. He had, his kids were 3 and 1 or 3 and 4. Little Max and Bella, I used to see, by the way, his little kids, they're probably in college now. And I remember them when they were like Jaden, okay? And I've been doing this a while, all right? So I remember when he said, thank God the doctor spoke to me like this. Instead of telling me what I needed, because the doctor could say, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. But that's not enough for most people. Mm-hmm. So he found out what he wanted. Now there's 2 ways of selling somebody what they want. Imagining what it looks like when you get it, or imagining the opposite and having it hurt you.
Fear and love.
Okay? And that's called fear and love. All right? And what the doctor chose to do, the doctor knew that selling him on being a millionaire and sitting in his mansion and driving his Rolls Royces probably wasn't going to be as powerful as, remember, Steph, and Gold Call, how we talk about these things and we have to imagine these things about our goals and dreams and everything. And then there's one. With a step, I'm going to choose to use a love-based approach and talk about imagining those things happening, okay? But more powerfully put, many times, is imagining it not happening, okay? And so here's what the doctor chose to do. This is what the doctor did. You ready? The doctor did this to Milet, okay? And Milet was livid on stage. The doctor said, do you love your wife? Yeah? How would you feel if another man was making up next to her?
Damn. No way.
Excuse me? He goes, you love your daughter? He goes, how would you feel if another man walked her down the aisle and gave her away? Yes. Excuse me? Guys, and this is not a joke. This isn't like telling this to make people laugh. This was telling him to make sure that he stayed on track. Okay? So the language that he used. Now, when I sell life insurance, okay, I'm going to find out what's most important to those people, and I'm going to tie death benefit and living benefit to it. I'm not going to tell people what they need. What they need can be simply put as, like, remember, do the intangible, okay, and tangible. Thank you, brother. I probably should have switch it, but it doesn't matter. Like, I probably should have put tangible on the left, but it's okay. Because technically tangible is a logic-based left side of the brain, intangible is right side of the brain, but if you're looking at it, it's backwards. Anyways, I overthink sometimes, okay? Intangible and tangible. Tangibly, I'm going to do one of these dime methods, okay? Or I'm going to say the cheat code is 7 to 10 times your income. So dime method, I'm going to say your credit cards are 20 grand. You know, your income is 100 grand a year, and your kids are 7 and 5. So you have 13 more years of your kids in the house. I take the youngest child and I run the child till 18. So I take the youngest kid and I run up to 18. Depending on how the client's family operates, I may make a comment like, but we all know those 18-year-olds don't have their own place yet. Yeah. Because they're they're upstairs, okay? Or I know the house that they've kicked their kids out at 18 and they're like, hell no, and I don't need to make that comment. Does that make sense? That's the human part of knowing who I'm talking to. Yeah. But I like sarcasm, and so if I did 13 years of $100,000, it's 1.3. I'm just going to take the amount of years, make sure, and by the way, you could say, Coach, I didn't get that. Coach, say that again. I'm okay with that stuff. Don't feel like we're not presenting right now. We're training. So I did $100,000 times 13 years because I had a 5-year-old in the house. Now, if I had a 12-year-old in the house, how many years would I run it to? 6. I would just do 6. That doesn't even count the commitment to their spouse. That's just the commitment to taking care of the kids. And here's another joke that I use in the field. I was like, the state really wants us to take care of the kids until they're at least 18. So we can't ditch them at 14. They just don't let us do that. And I feel them out and their seriousness level. If I'm dealing with a highly sensitive, serious person, that's not going to land well. Okay. But when they look at me, they're like, ah. So I'm feeling them out. I'm feeling them out. So what I'm doing is I'm selling on something where they can't say that I oversold.
Yeah.
I can't. I just did a legal minimum of you providing your same income to your children until they're 18, until you're legally covered to take care of these people. You have to take care of your children. All right. This is part of unless you give it to the state, that kid's yours. Okay. And so I do that part, but I don't talk about the husband and wife traveling and living their dream life, because if I sell them on that, then in the end they could go, but we don't need the dream life. We can't afford that. And then I'm stuck. Yeah. You know, I went big and I went for the big long, and now I'm 3rd and 10. You know what I mean? And now I'm like, now I got a penalty, and now we're not going to get a first down. Now I'm screwed. Okay. M is mortgage. You know, maybe they owe $400,000 on their house or something like that. And then E on education, I say, are you the type of parent that wants to provide an education for your kids? Half the parents will sell their left eye for their kids to go to college. Okay. Which is ridiculous, but if they want that, I'll sell them more insurance, no problem, okay? And then half the parents are like, the hell with them, I'm an immigrant, my kids, I didn't get anything, and my kids will get nothing too. Yeah. Which is more me, but I'm not an immigrant, but I'll use the same language, okay? So depending on who they are, that might be nothing, or it may be 100, 200 grand, but you add it up and you get your number, 1.7, 1.72 million, okay? That's the insurable need. That's the need. But if I just operated at 1.72, you need this, let's get it started, that's not going to rally me to find the monthly budget and my money to do it. Okay? Because I still want to go hang out with my friends for the Super Bowl. I still want to play my $100 a week little game that I play with my friends, and this is going to cut into my lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, people still have their stupid little things they're not talking about, by the way. And if you don't think people have their side little fantasy leagues, if you don't think they have their side little gambling things, if you don't think they have their little drinking habit, if you don't think they have their smoking habit, if you don't think they got some of these things going on, you're tripping, okay? And don't have a husband and a wife get into those things. Because it's okay with me to make a sale if the husband doesn't say everything to his wife, and if the wife doesn't say everything to her husband. That is not my job. Some of you guys' eyes went like this. I'm not assuming anything, but if you think for a second that every single couple knows every single thing, and the longer they've been married, the more that they're okay going, I don't want to know about that. And I'm not talking about sinful, nasty stuff. I'm talking about just, she buys a little too much at the store and I don't want to know about it. Going back to this one, I'm going to then ask, what is most important to you? What do you mean? What is most important to you in your life? Whether it's the next 3, 5, 7 years, 10 years, long term. Ma'am, why don't we start with you? What's most important financially to you? Is this debt, income, insurance, retirement? Do you want to make a purchase? Do you want to travel? Now, by now, I will tell you 80% of the women do not need to be prompted in this regard. Okay? Most women, I'm going to start with a wife as much as I possibly can, because she usually knows the goals and dreams a little bit more in the family. Husband's just trying to make it happen. Okay? But the wife usually will have a pulse point of what the family wants to do more than the husbands are going to articulate. And even if the husband knows, he doesn't want to say all of it because he knows he's committed to, once he says it in front of his wife, he has to do it. And usually they don't want to say they're mowing the lawn. They want to say, I'll do my best. Okay? So these are all, if you've been in the field, this is all stuff where you're like, yep. I have lots of flight hours in the field. Okay? So, next part of the question. This is a really good question. We'll wrap up with it too. On the intangible side, when I ask the goals and dreams, most women are going to go right into it, okay? Because they want to be heard and they want to talk about those things. If they don't go right into it, it's because it's also a sensitive subject at the house. She wants to say all the goals and dreams, but she doesn't want to make her husband feel bad because she doesn't feel like he could do it. So she'll say, we just want to get by and pay off our mortgage and live a good life. Oh man. Just letting you know, you have to be sensitive with that one because they've probably argued about it many times. Okay? They've probably at one point said they wanted more, and either they've given up on some of those goals and dreams because they're like, it is what it is, life. Whenever people say things like, it is what it is, that's a quitting statement. Yeah. That means I'm not in control of the outcome. I've accepted.
Wow.
Okay? And for a lot of families, depending on how long, because it's a loaded question when it's, how do you tell them about insurance need? Well, how long have they been married? What's the dynamic? And I got to watch these things, and it tells me which direction to go to. Again, 28-year-old couple, 30-year-old couple, dime, that's it. Most of the time. They don't have depth they don't have the depth of goals and dreams in life and everything like that. They still think everything's happening. They're like, yeah, he told me we're going to have a big mansion. She's going to leave work after our second kid. Yeah. Like they believe it's all going to happen. Just let them keep going with it. Later, after a divorce or a bankruptcy, or after they've settled for the fact that it's not happening, it's a different tone in my voice when I talk to them. And age is one of the biggest determining factors as to how I talk to people. Okay, it's how long married, how old are they, and everything. And watching them when I ask these questions and just watching human behavior. Just like a defensive back watches the backfield and gets into position based off of the offense set. Okay, you get into position. I do too when I'm watching a person, which is why we can't teach product without teaching people. Yeah. We can't because it's not good enough. You could know a cover 2 defense, but if you don't know what their set is, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Like you got to know what they're doing. They're doing also. Okay. So to wrap that part up, once I know what they want and what their goals and dreams are, I'm going to tie it to these things, and I'm going to do my best to use love and not fear to do it. Now, if I feel a comfortable, confident man, like it's really hard. The more confident a man is, the more insecurities he has too. It's kind of weird. Like us alpha males, we have a lot of insecurities, but I'm going to feel it out. Yeah. I'm going to ask them after they tell me their goals and dreams, and I'm looking for things like, while that question's asked, I'm looking for monthly cash flow, meaning what's the life they want going to cost and how much are they making. Okay. I'm looking for things like getting out of debt. Maybe it's a security thing. Maybe it's getting off credit cards. Okay. I'm looking at emergency fund. Some people are they want to beef up their emergency fund, or they've used up their savings and they want to get back to having some savings. Especially if people have had savings, they really want it again. For sure. If they've never had savings, they're usually they may say, well, it is what it is. It's tough out there. That means I have no savings and I quit. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's not, you have to know which one you're talking to. Fourth one is insurance. Fifth one's retirement. They may talk about, we just want to put more money in our 401k. We want to do stuff like that. These are our 5 steps of serving a family. Okay. When I was trained in the business day, these were our FLS 5 steps. What do you make and what do you take home? That'll determine your discretionary. Do you have debt and is it manageable? Or if it's manageable, like I have $7,000 on a credit card, I'm going to pay it off in the next several months. Okay, cool, manageable. If they have debt like $70,000 in credit cards and I'm underwater and I need debt mediator law, I need mediator law group to help me out, then I'll get into a service for debt. Emergency funds, putting 3 to 6 months away, insurance and retirement. These are some of the tangible things they may say, but on the goals and dreams, I'm also looking for things that are, okay, always remember emotional. Like when we do a vision board, what are the emotional goals that you have? Like